en zeggen and the children of Ma. Zo zagen ze zeggen are the children of Ma. And we talked about Gielinor. We also talked about the artifacts of the elder gods, which made them. So you have the elder artifacts, and the gods use the elder artifacts for their power, for more power. And we talked about Guthix. We talked about the Dragonkin as well. That there are two factions, the Dactyl and the Necrocertes. If you haven't checked it out, check out the first video where this will all be explained. So, before we start today, as always, kick back, relax, and enjoy. So, it is time to dive into the First Age. The First Age, or the Age of Creation, was the dawn of Gielinor. It began when Guthix discovered Gielinor, the last perfect creation of the elder gods. Overwhelmed by its beauty, he created portals to bring peaceful races that could live in balance with themselves and the world. The First Age was roughly 4,000 years long and ended when Guthix descended into his first slumber. So the first event is year 1. Guthix discovers Gielinor. Guthix, the god of balance, discovers Gielinor, the last creation of the elder gods, after traveling through many worlds. There, he finds several more artifacts, a staff that would later become known as the Staff of Armadil, the Stone of Yas, and the horn. Taken by the planet's beauty, he decides to share it with the mortals. So, we did already talked about Guthix, but let's do a quick recap about Guthix himself. So, Guthix was the god of the balance and the last surviving member of the Naragi race. He was the first of the young gods to arrive to Gielinor, soon bringing in the goddess Seren, which is the daughter of Ma, and other races including the humans, sheep, and elves. He believed in the concept of balance and brought aforementioned races, who had no concept of the gods and no inclination to either good or evil, to Gielinor to live in harmony with their surroundings and allow them to make their own choices so the balance between good and evil would be maintained. Okay, so we did all this, but Guthix was very powerful, and probably the most powerful along all the known young gods. And that's probably because he had a lot of elder artifacts for a longer time, and the ability to channel power through the Anima Mundi. With their aid, he was able to shape the world of Gielinor, which was an empty planet at the time he found it. So the Anima Mundi are these ones, poison waves, manipulation of interface with Anima Mundi. So Anima Mundi are the gnomes. Is a name given by the gnomes to the life force that exists within all things. It's a byproduct of a balanced ecosystem. So, the closer to perfection a world is, the stronger the Anima Mundi becomes. And since Gielinor is the most perfectly balanced world, it has the most Anima Mundi. In effect, Anima Mundi was created by the elder gods, since they created all of the worlds, and they plan to utilize Gielinor's Anima Mundi again to enact the Great Revision. Guthix has attempted to balance the Anima Mundi on Gielinor to stop the elder gods from awakening, but his goal was hampered by the Cold Wars. In addition, as of late, the Anima Mundi on Gielinor is bleeding, and it could disappear completely, allowing the creatures connected to it, such as Virago and spirit trees, if the ecosystem is too unbalanced. Okay, so that's a little bit about Anima Mundi and a little bit about Guthix. So, Gielinor, of course, is the world of Runescape. Gielinor, nicknamed Runescape, but humans inhabiting it. It is the final creation of the elder gods. We also did this last time. It is orbited by a moon, which is the realm of Sanaris, being the last place that Guthix visited before arriving in Gielinor. Shooting star artifacts, on the Elder 12, and they were very powerful artifacts that were created by the Elder Gods, and they used that basically as conduits for their own power and craft perfect details in their creations. Most of them were created by Yas, which was the most powerful of all the Elder Gods, who was aligned a time using her stone. The Elder artifacts, they can be destroyed and have been destroyed in the past by the Elder Gods, who destroyed previous versions of the artifacts that did not meet their approval. Okay, so these are Elder Gods artifacts. The Catalyst, Stone of Yas, used to create other artifacts, used to store knowledge and power. The Siphon, Staff of Armadale, used to fuse elements cleanly and with precision and used to transfer power. The Kiln, used to create the Tokar. Remember, these are the workers that used shaping the planets. The Blade, Guthix sword, used to separate elements cleanly with precision, used to open portal between planes. And the Locator, Crown Archival, used to locate other Elder artifacts. Then there is the Horn, used to safely communicate and control other sentient beings without harming them. The Measure, used to measure the anima mundi of a plane. The Mirror, used to duplicate items, environments, and so forth. The Needle, used to pull away apart the threads of time to restore anima to the world. The rest is unknown. The Codex, the Template, and the Hammer. Let me get a sip of water. Oh, that's a lot better. So, event or the first decades, Gielinor is inhabited. After shaping it to his desire, Guthix, now the most powerful god alive, created a portal called the World Gate, or the Portal of Life, to bring in various races to Gielinor, eager to have them inhabited without the influence of any gods he so despised. Humans, dwarves, fairies, gnomes, and others arrive to the plane. Meanwhile, he invites Saren to come as well, and she ventures to the plane with her elves. She constructs the Tower of Voices in the center of a clearing in the forest of Isafdar, and leads the elves there through the world gate. She lays out her vision for the elven city. Contact with the elven homeworld is maintained. Sometime after the creation of the World Gate, Guthix's sword is shattered during an attempt to cut into the void, and it becomes too dangerous to use. So, first of all, the World Gate. Oh, oopsie. World Gate, there we go. So, Anomundi can close, Gielinor can close, Guthix can close. Elven clans. So, the World Gate, also known as the Portal of Life, this is it. Is a dimensional passage that allows us travels between worlds, which was created by Guthix with the blade and was used to populate Gielinor with the many of the races that currently inhabit it. It came into the possession of Saren after Guthix went to sleep at the end of the First Age, and in the Second Age it was taken by Sauros and then later sailed in the Shadow Realm. It features a major part of the fate of the God's Quest and is used to access Runescape. Other worlds may be viewed through it, but they are not reachable except Tardiat and Mount Firewake on Gethsey. If a player attempts to access any of the other worlds, they will be prevented, and the following message appears in the chat box. A mystical force stops you from stepping through the World Gate. Okay. So, I don't want to read about the 6th age yet. So that's World Gate basically. So then we have Privtinas, which is pronounced Privtinas, is the greatest city of the elves, located just north of Isafdar. easiest method of teleporting to the city is the lodestone, which is found in the center of the Tower of Voices, although it must be activated first. The crystal teleport seed can also be used to teleport to any individual district of the city after it is unlocked. A spirit tree may also be used to access the city. The clan Vexilium can be used to teleport to the clan portal in the Tower of Voices. Likewise, if a player moves their house to the city, the teleport to house spell may be used. Note that the city must be accessed once on foot before any teleportation method can be used. The Max Cape and Completionist Cape can be used to teleport to the Max Guild in the Kadarn district after the completion of the Elite Terran task set. Players can use the Terran Quiver to teleport to the Harmony Pillars in the Melier district of the city. The Dungeoneering Cape can be used to teleport to the resource dungeons located in the Melier district. Finally, if a player owns the full Master Camouflage outfit, they can use it to teleport to any of the 8 districts. Wow, that sounds super cool. It is built of a large crater, which is mostly formed of crystal of Saren's being, constructed by the 8 elven clans, and it's about the first age. You can also fish from the Prifdina's waterfall. That's pretty cool. So there's elven clans as well. Our collection from elven families for Dardiat. The elves are divided into clans by bloodline, although it is possible for clans to adopt elves whose heritage is unknown. Each clan specializes in a particular art or craft, thus completing one another. The clans are led by an elf bearing the honorary title of Lord or Lady, and these are chosen mostly on meritocratic basis. 8 elven clans are known to have been brought to Gielinor through the World Gate by Saren and Guthix during the First Age. When Prifdina's was constructed from crystal, each of these 8 ancestor clans received its own district within the city, complete with a crystal tower connected to the Tower of Voices. Since then, other elven families have emerged, although these all fall under the auspices of one of the 8 original clans. They rule over Prifdina's equally through the Elven Council of Elders, through the 2nd, 3rd, and part of the 4th Age. When the Elven Civil War began, the majority of the Elven race was forced to retreat into Isafdar. As of the Eowarth clan conquered Prifdina's and slaughtered all resistance. The Battle of Prifdina's also saw the fall of the Kadarn clan's empire. Empire east of Arandar, from which point onward the elves have been isolated in Tiranwen. As a result, the elves lost much of their interregional significance as humans, goblins, and gnomes gradually took over the space the empire had once occupied, and have become legendary in many parts of the world. The clans are said to differ greatly in lifestyle and nature, but little of this has been made common knowledge. Each clan specializes in a certain skill or technique at which they excel. For example, the Iowers are accomplished warriors, while the Ethel are renowned for the crystal singing and crafting skills. So, there's 8 clans. Sorry. You have Amlot clan, which have divination and summoning skills. Then there is the Kadarn clan, which have magic and ranged. Kuris, which have farming and woodcutting. Heaven, which specialize in agility and prayer. Ioworth, Slayer, attack and strength. Ethel, crafting and construction. Melier, dungeoneering. And So, then there is next part is also in the first decades, humans spread out, runes are created. So, after arriving to the realm, the first humans are greeted by Guthix near what is now Arduin. Arduin. How do I pronounce it? It's quite hard. Arduin. Okay, I was doing good. Let's close these. We don't need this anymore for now. So, they settle in farming communities and meet up with each other annually. Guthix creates a very large but finite amount of rune stones, using the stone of Yas for the humans use, and as missionaries spread them around. A child named Jack discovers a spell he calls Fire Strike and eventually becomes the first druid. He founds the Wizard Guild, where the first wizards begin wearing robes with pointy hats and study magic. Gielinor is dubbed Runescape by the humans after the runes they received from Guthix. At one point, a man named Harold dies, the first mortal to die on the realm, and thus becomes the escort of souls of the dead to the grim underworld, Gielinor's afterlife. Meanwhile, an elf named Halonet discovers human civilization and reports it to Seren. Guthix returns every few years to observe the races of Gielinor. We already did the Stone of Yas, so I'm gonna skip that. Okay, there's this and this. Okay. Oh, I thought it said sheep, it said sleep. Never mind. So, humans are one of the most diverse races of Runescape. Most tend to be taller than dwarves, but smaller than Majarats, which we will now see what they are. The Majarat, which means children of Ma, are a warlike, very powerful and long-lived tribe, belonging to the species known as the Dreams of Ma, from the realm of Runescape. They are some of the most powerful beings to have ever walked on Gielinor, created by Aldecott Ma as the first of her races. They have very long lifespans, able to live for millennia. In general, their deaths are either a result of very intense wounds, being chosen as the sacrifice in one of the rituals of rejuvenation, or for missing a significant number of rituals without conserving energy. Okay, so that's what the Majarat are. I mean, I'm sure they will come back. Let's now focus on humans. So, smaller than Majarat, they tend to be about the same size as elves, but with a more broad and stocky build. They are originally from Terragard. Most humans follow Suradomin, Guthix, or Sawarak, while others have been known to follow lesser gods and deities. Almost every god has some human following. Oops, sorry. So, Terragard. Terragard is the world where humans and Saradomin originated. The humans arrived from their own realm to Gielinor. The whole of Terragard is ruled by 7 magisters. Okay, I'm done, sorry. By 7 magisters from 7 ruling families of Terragard, it is they who officiate law, tradition and religion within the world. Okay. Terra does mean earth indeed. Guard is Germanic word, also means earth. So earth. Okay. So yeah, humans come from this world. several centuries. So the Saradomin that is worshipped by the Terra Guardians is but an image of fear that the magisters use by which to rule and subjugate their people. Okay. They also are very adaptable, humans. Humans tend to get along well with the dwarves, gnomes, and Tsar, whom they have long established diplomacies with. They also have some limited communications with goblins, although most of the tribes appear to be enemies. When we first arrived to this plain, we traveled from the east over some white mountains. It was a long journey, and we saw no other humans and few animals. We're the first humans to come to Runescape. We came from another plane. On our plane there are great many people, and the creatures and the scientific laws seem far less strange. Oh no, there are great many humans that came through the portal from all corners of our home plane. We're spread out, some in large groups, but our family decided to travel a bit further afield. From time to time we see others, and we've arranged to meet up once a year to the east and share our experiences. Roger, meeting history. So, the territories of the human lands include the Kingdom of Mistalin, the Kingdom of Ascarnia, the Kingdom of Kandarin, the Caridian Desert, the Feminic Province, the Island of Karamja, the Island of Antrana, the Island of Moslaharnes, Harmony Island, and the Lunar Isle. And this is a list of notable humans. Of course, Saradomin, a human who has extended to godhood and is now one of the most well-known and influential gods of the multiverse. He's also responsible for introducing them across various realms. Okay, so this is all about us. The first humans were transported, this we know. During the rest of the First Age, humans were busy exploring their new realm, and the early humans started to form the basis of their civilization. At this time, the first wizards, such as Jack Rogerson, and the runes left behind by Guthix to create the first spells. He also wrote the first spell books. In the beginning of the Second Age, all humans were nomadic people. However, it did not take long for them to begin to spread and divide, and before long, humanity had spread across the world, establishing the oldest surviving city in the Caridian Desert. Since Guthix by this time had ended his long slumber, humans started to follow new gods, notably Zaros and Saradomin. Nearly all humans during this era spoke Infernal, even those under the rule of Saradomin. Humanity played a key role in the Cold Wars. During the Cold Wars, like almost every race, humanity nearly became extinct. The wars also made them violent to the point of opposing one another. When the Fourth Age began, almost every human settlement had been destroyed, and most of the humans were living a nomadic lifestyle again. The only known free humans with permanent settlements lived in the refuge town of Burg the Rot and the twin settlement Menafos Sophanem. As the Fourth Age progressed, humanity began to prosper. Many heroic tales and legends come from this age. Varrock was founded with the help of Araf, and the evil of Mortiana was sealed away by the 7 priestly warriors. Humanity, though, was competing for land with nearly every other race, and so they were involved in many wars and battles. Still, they were nothing approaching the Cold Wars. Humanity gained supremacy when the Fremeniks discovered rune essence. While some of the Fremeniks disagreed and claimed the stone should not be used, others began crafting it into runes. The Fifth Age, or the Age of the Humans, began when these runes fell into human hands. Kept a closely guarded secret between a select few mages, rune essence began to be made into runes. Humanity could finally defend itself from the attacks using magic. Civilizations grew, and new lands was conquered. Before long, humanity had become the dominant species in Gielinor. However, thus the secrets of rune crafting were lost to most humans. That marked the end of the expansion of humans, and from that point they used runes mainly to defend themselves from outsiders. Later on, the lost knowledge of rune crafting was rediscovered, and humans once again started using these for magic, significantly regaining much of their lost prestige and power. Currently, it is year 1 of the 6th age. Humanity is still dominant for the time being, but this could all soon change. Nevertheless, human adventurers have played crucial roles in recent events, occurring all over Gielinor's surface and depths, and even in adjacent dimensions and planes, ranging from slaying apocalyptic demons, destroying powerful dragons, which have laid waste to entire settlements, discovering long-lost secrets of gods, interacting with all other Gielinorian races, either as allies, as enemies, or neutrally, and repelling the evil of both wilderness and Mauritania. Okay. I want to do the whole human thing because humans are dope. We are dope. We are cool. So these are these are runes, and there's multiple kinds of runes. I think there must be a list. There we go. So as we just knew, runes are small weightless stones, which allows player to cast spells using the magic skill. Runes can either be bought from the various rune shops around Runescape, traded with other players, purchased on the Grand Exchanged, created from rune essence or pure essence, for the rune crafting skill, obtained by the Rune Crafting Guild, procured by drops from killing monsters, or picked up from spawns on the ground. The elemental runes air, water, earth, and fire. Nice, that makes me think of the band. Earth, wind, and fire is that name though. Named after the Greek classical elements, can be substituted for by wielding a respective elemental staff, battle staff, or mystical staff. The only times an elemental staff cannot be used to substitute for runes is when setting up a portal in the portal chamber of a player-owned house, or when charging a polybore staff. Runes come in a number of different types, but they can be categorized according to themes based on their names. For example, mind, body, blood, and soul were all constant parts of a human cosmic and astral burden to outer space. Nature is in Guthix, laws in Zeradomin, and chaos in Zamorak, and life and death occur in time. The 6 combination runes, mud, mist, lava, smoke, steam, and dust, cover all possible pairs of the 4 elemental runes. Cool. So, we just read all about this, about runes. So these are the runes: air runes. What are the 4 elemental runes? Mind. Water runes. Earth runes. Fire rune. The body rune. Cosmic rune. Chaos rune. The nature rune. The law rune. And the death rune. So these are all used to cast spells. There's also minigame runes, got elemental runes and catalyst runes. And then there's the member runes. There's astral rune, which is used to cast the lunar spells, which you need to do the lunar diplomacy quest first. Blood rune, used to cast high level ancient magics. Blitz and mirage spells can be made using the rune gifting skill. Soul rune, used to cast high level curse spells. Skilling related spells like crystallize, as well as other spells, can be made using rune crafting as well. And there's the Amadale rune. It's used to cast the Storm of Amadale and released with the Ritual of Majorat quest. The quest must be completed to use it. It has no other use than the spell. It is only made with dust of Amadale. And then there's the combination runes. Dust rune is air and earth. Lava is earth and fire. Mist is air and water. Mud is water and earth. Smoke, air and fire. And steam, water and fire. So, this is all about the runes. known simply as Death, or the Grim Reaper, is a legendary guardian of Guthix who is responsible for reaping of souls in Gielinor. He and his pet skeleton hellhound Muncher can be found in his office north of the trainer village Lodestone. He runs the soul reaping distraction and diversion features in the World Wakes, Missing, Presumed Death, and Nomads, Elegy quests, and has been the main figure of many Halloweeny events. He also plays a minor role in Smoke Like It Cold, and Dishonor Among Thieves. He also acts as the death tutor when the player dies for the first time and explains death, item losses, and gravestones. Power and abilities. Death is very powerful, and in his role as the regulator of life, he is responsible for freeing souls from bodies with his scythe and escorting them to the grim underworld, the underworld of Gielinor, where Icthlarin, the minified god of the underworld, then guides these souls through it safely. The two have a good relationship as both require one another for the respective roles. Contrary to the popular belief, Death cannot kill or revive people on a whim, as he is only capable of killing people whose time has come in order to ensure balance. In combat, he is a fearsome adversary. His massive scythe is able to slice several foes at once, and he has an arsenal of magical spells at his disposal. He has been seen using a blue spell that sucks the life out of a victim, as well as creating lethal spirit balls which inflict fatal damage when touched. He usually defends himself instead of actively trying to kill others, due to his vow to maintain balance and inability to kill anything not fated to die. Death is capable of existing in multiple places at once, as seen during the 2014 Halloween event. He is even powerful enough to turn back time itself, as seen in Some Like It Cold, if the adventurer was unfortunate enough to die during the submarine sequence. Players doing treasure trails clues are sometimes directed to him with the anagram Hated. So, his origins. Harold was the first being to die on Gielinor, presumably meeting his end during the First Age. Although it is unknown exactly how he met his end, he was the first to die. He was likely among the first humans that Guthix brought to populate Gielinor from Terragard, or one of its colonies. Harold seemingly died of old age, and is the first being to meet his end on Gielinor. He was given the task of both regulating the balance of life and death and acting as Gielinor's psychopomp, making sure that souls are able to leave their former bodies when they pass on. To help with his duties, Guthix himself outfitted Harold with signature robes and his scythe, the only known weapon capable of reaping souls and sending them to the underworld. He also bestowed a weakness upon him, ensuring that he cannot kill those whose time have not yet come, and likewise cannot save those whose time has. At the end of the First Age, Guthix withdrew underground to sleep in the hope that the mortal races would forget him, and the other gods soon arrived. These included Tumekan and Elidinis, who soon had two children, Icthlarin and Amaskut. Icthlarin became the god of the dead, while Amaskut became the goddess of rebirth. They tasked themselves with roles that made Death's role easier. They would meet the souls that Death escorted to the gates of the underworld. Then Amaskut would allow those worthy a choice to be reincarnated or to continue to the afterlife, while Icthlarin would escort them to the afterlife. After an incident on Runescape, Amaskut's mind became warped and began to devour souls, and the underworld became filled with her soul-devouring beasts, making Icthlarin's role much more important than it had been before. Okay. At the end of the Third Age, Guthix awoke from his slumber, sensing the devastation that the gods had caused to Gielinor. Guthix proceeded to bless various beings greatly, including gods out of Gielinor. After Guthix finished casting the gods out, creating the edicts of Guthix in the process, he tasked some of the guardians with various duties. Although, as Death was already busy with his current duties, Guthix did not bestow any more on him. Guthix then departed back into the ground to resume his slumber, and Death resumed his role as guide of souls to the underworld. Although Death continued to perform his duty throughout the 4th and 5th ages, he also garnered a bit of social life, even founding his own clan, known as the Horsemen, alongside the 3 other horsemen of the Apocalypse and a man named Frank. Although the latter was only let in because 5 people are needed to start a clan, and Frank happened to be wandering past at the time. At some point, he also adopted a skeletal hellhound known as Muncher, who he likes to keep alongside him in his mansion. So he protected Death, accompanied his fellow guardians, and on the Guthixians to the Guthix cave. Blah 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 blah. So he protects Guthix basically. He chose to keep Guthix asleep and preserve the edicts. The party arrived shortly after Celiana and Kel'Thuzad left, unable to open the giant door. They've explained their purpose and formed an alliance with the adventurer, not knowing that they were secretly working for the Zerosians on Slisky's request. The adventurer managed to solve a locking mechanism for the door and unlock it, allowing passage for the Guthixian group. So this is basically about him protecting Guthix. So, I don't want to read too much about this because we might do the quests, you see. Leisure time. When not reaping souls, Death lives in his mansion, where he has employed butlers and helpers to help him with its upkeep. His touch of death, however, has resulted in hundreds of accidental deaths over the years. He, despite supposedly only being able to kill people whose time has come, when his 999 servant Alphonse was killed, when Death patted him on the back. My God. In gratitude, he contacted the Servants Guild for a new worker and got 10% off due to them being number 1000. While watching for the servants' arrival, his house became an utter mess due to the incident involving munchers eating the postman. His helpers also received a vital role, as he tasked them with sending souls to the underworld in his place with fragments of his scythe, if he were ever unable to perform his duties. Then, we know he loves Muncher. Death often has trouble with his pets in the past due to their short lifespans, and his touch of death, which results in his pet bunny exploding when he tried feeding it a carrot. As such, Muncher, being undead, is the perfect pet for him. Aside from Muncher, he has experimented with undead fish to keep him company. He also enjoys music and is a big fan of bands such as